Have you ever noticed the more you react to people, the more control they have over you? And the less you react, the more powerful you become? Today, we dive deep into the ancient Buddhist philosophy of ignoring without hatred, a path that teaches us how silence, detachment, and inner stillness can transform our lives. Imagine this. A monk sits in a bustling marketplace. People shout, argue, and try to provoke him. But he sits there calm, smiling, unbothered. Some laugh at him, some insult him, but he remains silent. Later, a disciple asks, "Master, how can you remain so peaceful when the world tries to disturb you?" The monk replies, "If someone offers you a gift, but you do not accept it, who does it belong to?" The disciple answers, "It belongs to the giver." The monk smiles. Exactly. When people throw anger, criticism, or hatred at me, I do not accept it. It stays with them, not me. This is the power of ignoring. Now pause for a second. Think about your own life. How many times have you lost your peace just because you couldn't ignore? How many nights have you wasted replaying someone's words in your head? What if I told you that by learning the art of ignoring, truly ignoring, without suppressing, you could unlock a freedom most people never experience? Stay with me till the end of this video, because we are going to explore the Buddhist philosophy behind ignoring, why silence can sometimes be louder than words, how to deal with criticism, toxic people, and negativity, and how ignoring can become your greatest superpower in life. Let's begin by understanding what Buddhism says about human suffering. The Buddha taught that suffering often comes not from what others do, but from our reaction to what others do. Insults, gossip, judgments, these things are outside of us. But the pain we feel comes from how much we allow those things to live rent-free in our mind. This is why the art of ignoring is not about being arrogant or cold, it is about choosing peace over disturbance. But wait, does ignoring mean weakness? Does silence mean we are running away? Or can it actually be the strongest form of power? In the next part, we'll uncover a deep Buddhist story that answers this question. Once during the Buddhist time, there was a man who hated him deeply. This man couldn't accept that so many people were following the Buddha, respecting him, and living by his teachings. So one day, he decided to insult the Buddha publicly. He walked up to him and began shouting, "You are a fraud. You are misleading people. You are nothing but a fool." The crowd went silent. Everyone was waiting for the Buddha's reaction. Would he argue back? Would he defend himself? Would he get angry? But the Buddha remained calm. He looked at the man gently and said, "If someone brings you a gift, and you do not accept it, who does the gift belong to?" The man, confused, replied, "It belongs to the giver." The Buddha smiled and said, "Exactly. Your anger, your insults, you have brought them to me as a gift. But I do not accept them, so they remain with you." Think about that for a moment. What would have happened if the Buddha argued back? The man's anger would have grown, the crowd would have seen conflict, and peace would have been lost. Instead, the Buddha ignored, not out of weakness, but out of wisdom. Because when you stop feeding negativity, it dies on its own. This is the essence of Buddhist philosophy. Not every battle is worth fighting. Sometimes ignoring is the highest form of intelligence. Practical lesson #1 Why ignoring is power. Here's the truth most people don't realize. The world thrives on reaction. Gossip survives only if you react. Insults burn only if you absorb them. Negativity spreads only if you give it attention. By ignoring, you break the cycle. You stop being fuel to someone else's fire. But wait, doesn't ignoring mean we're running away? Doesn't it mean we are avoiding reality? Not at all. In Buddhism, ignoring is not about denial, it's about choosing where to place your energy. Let's go deeper into this key. The Buddha always taught the middle pathway of balance. He never said we should fight everything. nor did he say we should run away from everything. He said, "Do not be a slave to anger. Do not be a slave to praise. Be free from both." That means if someone insults you, ignore it. If someone praises you also, don't let it inflate your ego, because both can disturb your peace if you attach to them. Real power comes from being unmoved, balanced, centered. Now you may be wondering, how do we actually practice this in daily life? How do we ignore criticism, insults, or negativity without suppressing our emotions? In the next part, we'll explore 3 powerful Buddhist techniques that will train your mind to ignore wisely and stay calm no matter what happens. Now, here's the big question. It's easy to admire the Buddhist calmness in stories. But when someone insults you at work, mocks you in front of friends, or spreads lies about you, how do you actually ignore it? Most of us either explode in anger, or keep quiet outside but burn inside. That's not real ignoring, that's just suppressing. So let's explore 3 Buddhist techniques that can help you ignore without hatred, without frustration, and without losing your peace. Technique 1: Mindful breathing, anchoring the mind. When someone provokes you, your mind reacts instantly. Your heartbeat rises, your face gets hot, your body wants to attack. This is the moment where most people lose control. Buddhism teaches us to return to our breath. Just one conscious breath can break the chain of reaction. The Buddhist said, "Better than 1,000 hollow words is one word that brings peace." Sometimes that word is silence. Practical example. Imagine your boss criticizes you unfairly in a meeting. Instead of snapping back or defending yourself aggressively, take a slow breath. Notice your body. Let the criticism pass through you like wind through trees. The other person expects a fight, but your silence disarms them. Technique 2: Observing thoughts like clouds. Here's a secret: when someone insults you, the real pain doesn't come from their words, it comes from your mind replaying those words again and again. Buddhism teaches thoughts are like clouds. They come and go. But the sky, the real you, remains untouched. So next time someone criticizes you, observe your thoughts like passing clouds. Don't fight them, don't attach to them, just let them float away. Think of your mind as a social media feed. Every insult, every negative comment, it's just another post. You don't have to click, you don't have to engage, you can just scroll past. That's the power of ignoring. Technique 3: Compassionate ignoring. This one is powerful. Instead of reacting with anger, try seeing the other person with compassion. Why? Because hurt people hurt people. Someone who insults, mocks, or spreads negativity is usually carrying pain inside. By ignoring them, not with arrogance, but with compassion, you protect your peace and you don't add more suffering to the world. Example: if a stranger yells at you on the street, instead of yelling back, this person must be deeply unhappy inside to treat others this way. And you walk away free. Pause for a moment and ask yourself, what would your life look like if you could stay calm in every storm? What battles would you stop fighting? What peace would you finally enjoy? Now, these techniques sound simple, but practicing them every day is where the real transformation happens. We've learned the techniques: mindful breathing, watching thoughts like clouds, and compassionate ignoring. But here's the challenge: how do you actually use this in your everyday life? Because let's be honest, our real test doesn't come on a meditation cushion. It comes in the middle of arguments, workplace stress, family drama, and the chaos of social media. So let's explore some everyday scenarios where the Buddhist art of ignoring can save your peace, your energy, and even your relationships. Scenario 1: Family conflicts. Families are beautiful, but they can also be the hardest place to practice peace. Sometimes it's not strangers, but our own relatives who test our patience. Example: your sibling makes a sarcastic remark. Your parent criticizes your choices. Your spouse keeps bringing up your mistakes. Now, your instinct may be to defend yourself, argue back, or prove them wrong. But ask yourself, does reacting ever bring peace? Or does it only add more fuel to the fire? Buddhism teaches holding on to anger is like grasping a hot coal. You burn yourself first. So instead of reacting, breathe. Ignore the unnecessary. Speak only when words will bring understanding, not more conflict. That's how ignoring becomes love, not weakness. Scenario to workplace negativity. The workplace is another battlefield. Jealous colleagues, harsh bosses, endless gossip. It's easy to get trapped. But here's the truth. If you react to every comment, you'll drain your energy. If you ignore wisely, you'll protect your focus. Example: a coworker spreads rumors about you. Instead of wasting hours defending yourself, you let your work speak louder. Your silence becomes your strength. Buddhism says do not respond with hatred, for hatred never ends through hatred. Hatred ends only with love. In the workplace, love can mean professionalism, calmness, and not giving negativity the power to control your day. Scenario 3: social media and online trolling. Here's where most people lose control today: social media. One hateful comment can ruin your mood for hours, sometimes even days. But think about it. An online troll is just a stranger hiding behind a screen. Why should their words hold so much power over your inner peace? Buddhist approach: ignore, block, move on. Because attention is energy and trolls feed on it. The Buddha taught, whatever is not yours, let it go. Your letting go will be for your long-term happiness. So when you see negativity online, remember it's not yours. Don't pick it up. Don't carry it. Imagine this for a moment. You stop reacting to every insult. You don't get trapped in gossip. You don't let social media steal your joy. How powerful would you become? How free would your life feel? Here's the truth. If ignoring others is so powerful, then why don't most of us do it? Why do we keep reacting, even when we know it will cost us our peace? The answer lies in one thing: ego. Why ignoring is so hard: the trap of ego. Buddhism teaches that the root of human suffering is attachment, and one of our biggest attachments is to the self-image. When someone criticizes you, it feels like they are attacking you. When someone ignores you, it feels like they are disrespecting you. When someone praises you, it feels like they are lifting you. And so, we keep reacting because our ego demands attention. But here's the Buddhist secret. You are not your name. You are not your reputation. You are not even the image others carry of you. You are aware of yourself beyond praise, beyond insult. Once, a monk was meditating under a tree. A man came and spat on his face. The monk calmly opened his eyes, wiped his face, and said, "Do you have anything more to say?" The man was shocked. He expected anger, shouting, maybe even violence. But the monk's silence and calmness disarmed him completely. Later, the man returned, fell at the monk's feet, and said, "I am sorry. I was filled with anger, but you gave me no anger to fight against." The monk replied, "If someone throws burning coals, and you refuse to catch them, they fall harmlessly to the ground. Why should I burn myself with your fire?" This is why ignoring feels difficult, because our ego wants to grab those burning coals. Think about your own life. How many times have you picked up someone else's burning coal, an insult, a criticism, a judgment, and carried it for days, months, maybe even years? What if you could just drop it? What if you could let people's words fall to the ground without ever touching your peace? That's the Buddhist art of ignoring, the psychology of ignoring. The ego craves reaction. It wants to prove itself, defend itself, fight back. The mind craves drama. It replays the insult, creating endless inner movies. The heart craves approval. It feels wounded if it doesn't get praise. But when you step into awareness, you realize you don't have to feed these cravings. You can observe them, smile at them, and let them pass. This is not weakness, it's mastery. Here's something powerful to remember. When you ignore negativity, you're not only saving your own peace, you're also changing the energy of the situation. Because silence can be louder than words. Buddhist parable, the angry visitor. One day, a visitor came to the Buddha. He was furious, filled with jealousy, and began shouting at the Buddha, hurling insults and accusations. But the Buddha remained calm, silent, and compassionate. After a while, the man grew tired. His anger had nowhere to land. It was like throwing stones at the sky, nothing came back. Confused, he asked, "Why don't you respond? Why don't you defend yourself?" The Buddha replied, "If a man offers you a gift and you refuse it, to whom does the gift belong?" The man answered, "To the one who brought it." The Buddha smiled. "Exactly. I do not accept your anger. It stays with you." The man was stunned. Slowly, his anger dissolved into respect. Lesson from this story. Negativity feeds on reaction. When you give it silence, it starves. When you respond with calmness, it transforms. This is why Buddhism teaches that ignoring is not about running away, it's about breaking the chain of suffering. Modern application: how ignoring changes people. Think about real life. When a coworker tries to provoke you but you don't react, they lose interest. When an online troll gets no reply, they move on. When a family member argues but you remain calm, the argument fizzles out. Ignoring doesn't just save you, it teaches others that their negativity has no power over you. And sometimes, just like in the parable, your silence can inspire them to reflect on their own behavior. Now, let's pause for a second. Ask yourself, how many times have you given people exactly what they wanted, your reaction? What would happen if, from now on, you gave them nothing but calm silence? Wouldn't your peace grow stronger? Wouldn't your relationships slowly shift? But here's the thing: ignoring others doesn't mean ignoring life. It doesn't mean becoming passive or careless. So how do we know when to ignore and when to act? That's where the next Buddhist teaching comes in. Here's the mistake many people make. They ignore others and think it means never speak up, never defend yourself, never take action. But Buddhism doesn't teach blind ignoring, it teaches wise ignoring. So the question is, how do we know when to ignore and when to respond? The wisdom of discernment. The Buddhist path is called the middle way. It's not about being extreme, completely silent always, or always reacting. It's about balance. Discernment means asking yourself, will responding to this situation create more peace or more conflict? Will my words heal, or will they harm? Am I speaking from wisdom, or from wounded ego? If your response comes from anger, it's better to remain silent. If your response comes from compassion and truth, then speak. Example 1: the argument at home. If a family member insults you, reacting with anger will only deepen the fight. But ignoring wisely, letting the heat pass, creates space for a calm, loving conversation later. So first ignore. Then, when emotions are settled, respond with kindness. Example 2: injustice or harm. If someone is being bullied, abused, or treated unfairly, ignoring is not wisdom, it's avoidance. Here, Buddhist compassion asks us to act not from hate, but from courage and love. True ignoring is for ego-driven battles, not for stopping compassion. Example 3: social media hate. When a troll insults you personally, ignoring is the best answer. But if misinformation or harmful content spreads to others, sometimes a calm correction can bring clarity. Discernment means knowing the difference. Buddhist wisdom on action. The Buddha said, "Speak only when your words are more beautiful than silence." This means, if your words bring peace, speak. If your silence brings peace, stay quiet. That's the heart of discernment. So ask yourself right now, in the last conflict you faced, did your reaction bring peace or did it bring more fire? What would have happened if you paused, ignored the noise, and spoke later from wisdom instead of ego? Now that we understand when to ignore and to act, let's go deeper. Because ignoring doesn't just protect your mind, it actually builds your inner strength. In the next part, we'll explore how ignoring others creates unshakable confidence, self-mastery, and freedom from fear, the qualities of a truly awakened mind. Here's a secret most people don't realize. Every time you ignore wisely, you're not just avoiding negativity, you're actually training your mind to become unshakable. Ignoring is not weakness. Ignoring is hidden strength. Ignoring builds inner confidence. When you stop reacting to every insult, every piece of gossip, every small drama, you send a powerful message to yourself. I don't need the approval of others to feel strong. This is real confidence. Not the confidence that comes from praise or validation, but the confidence that comes from knowing no one can shake my peace. Buddhism calls this equanimity a calmness so deep, it cannot be disturbed. Story: the king's insult. A king once asked a monk, "Why don't you bow to me? Don't you know I can kill you or set you free?" The monk replied calmly, "You may kill my body, but you cannot touch my mind. My freedom is already mine." The king was stunned. In that moment, he realized the monk had more power than him, because true power is freedom from fear. Ignoring makes you fearless. Fear is born from attachment to reputation, to approval, to control. But when you learn to ignore the noise, you stop living for others' opinions. And when you stop fearing people's opinions, you become unstoppable. This is why Buddhism teaches that the strongest person is not the one who can fight 1,000 battles, but the one who can master their own mind. Modern application. At work, if you ignore gossip, people see you as unshakable. In relationships, if you don't react to every mood swing, trust and respect grow. Online, if you don't give trolls attention, they fade away. Your silence becomes your armor. Your calmness becomes your power.